much for coming. We're really excited about this. You may know that we recently launched Catalyst Circle, which is really, we see as an entrepreneurship community for Firestarter funnels community and beyond. And as part of that, we'll have weekly coaching sessions with the Firestarter team on, different topics in the online business and just general business and entrepreneurship space. But we're also going to be having, a regular series of expert guest speakers coming in and just learning from them, things that are beyond, that we don't know about. And, I'm really excited to have Kerry here today to kick that off. And we just wanted to open the doors. Normally this will be kind of part of the closed Catalyst Circle membership, but, as we're in the founding member launch time, just really wanted to open the doors and, show everyone what it's all about. And Kerry and I connected because we're in a mastermind together, and the timing was perfect because he really specializes in sales challenges as kind of an alternative way to launching. There's a lot of different ways to launch things, live launches, webinars, but he's really found the sweet spot for his business in sales launches. I don't know very much sales challenges, and I don't really know much about that. So I'm super excited to kind of peek behind the scenes and learn from Kerry. And he's running a challenge
a challenge on challenges.
A challenge on challenges next week. So the timing was perfect. We thought that this was a way to kind of, both share, behind the scenes of, everything he's learned along his journey, invite you to his challenge next week, but also, this is kind of, we see this as like a, you're kind of getting like the fast track way to, learn about his work. And so if you don't want to sit through a 5-day challenge, but you're thinking of running a challenge yourself, you'll also kind of find out how you can kind of connect and continue the conversation with Kerry. So without further ado, Kerry, anything to add to that?
No, well, hey everybody. Good to see everybody. Hopefully you're doing well. I'm coming to you from Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's also somewhat cold here, but so I'm in the middle of Willa and Carla and Steven. It's probably like 40 here every day, so I'm kind of right in the middle of that. But super appreciative to Willa for just inviting me on to kind of share a little bit. Very excited about everything that Will is doing and what I'm doing, and hopefully we can help you guys and provide some value today. So thank you for coming in and spending a little bit of time with us. But I'm excited to get into it. Willa, anything before I get going?
Awesome. No, I'll just say, as you know, at Firestarter, one of the things that we do is we build funnels and templates. And so, when Kerry and I started talking about this, we were like, oh, cool. Like there's just such a natural ways to collaborate. So we actually, beyond having this session together, I was like, oh, like you're having this challenge, like to run a successful challenge, you need a funnel, which Kerry has. And I was like, what if we take, we put our heads together and we're like, let's turn this into a template. So as part of Kerry's challenge, there's a challenge template, but it's also something that for Firestarter funnels members, will be accessible to you on the platform as well. His kind of like proven high converting challenge funnel that we've taken and kind of rebuilt into template form. So really excited about that. We'll kind of later on show you the design of that, peek behind the scenes that the team is actually actively developing now. So we'll be ready for next week.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'll kick it over to you, Kerry, and excited to learn. And if you guys, we'll have some time for Q&A at the end, but if, burning questions come up along the way, also feel free to raise your hand. We're a small group here, so we could definitely fit that in. So awesome. I think you should have screen sharing permissions, but if you don't, we will make sure you do.
All right, I'm going to share. Let me know when you guys can see that.
Perfect.
I've got a somewhat small slide deck for you today. But basically just want to take you through challenges. So this, who I serve is online experts, course creators, coaches, anybody who's trying to share their expertise on the internet. And I have been in the online business world for nearly 10 years. I've been like building and running online businesses. So feels like I've been in it forever, but I'm probably still like a newbie compared to a lot of people. But I'm excited about this. So today I'm going to be talking about how I went from a broken webinar to 22 six-figure challenge launches, and kind of the big shift that led me to those kind of results. And so I kind of want to walk you through that journey today and give you an overview of the challenge launch model. See if it's something that can help you in your business, maybe improve your results, get more sales. And yeah, let's get into it. So I want to start off with a quick question. I love for your engagement in the chat, because I'm sure everybody has felt this. But I want to know if you've ever had a launch, an offer, an event, or maybe just like a business idea that just completely flopped. and you weren't 100% sure why. Like, let me pull up the chat so I can see the responses. Um, where is it at? Here we go. I'm usually not sharing on the Zoom chat. Willa says yes. I think we all have. I definitely have had a ton of flops, right? Nancy says yes. Currently learning how this all works. Yeah, it's like the online world is so weird, and I don't have a ton of experience in like other businesses offline. Like everything I've ever done is online, but like you just put so much time and energy, and it's kind of just you. You a lot of times you don't have a team. You might be like a solo. You know, in our space, like a lot of us are kind of solo. We have really small teams, and you put all this time and effort. It's kind of just you and yourself, and you launch this thing out there, and sometimes it doesn't work. And so I want to walk you through a little bit of my journey really quickly of kind of what happened to me in the very beginning. And this is my first webinar you see on the screen here. It's like the screenshot from my first webinar. I'm in the back room of our little starter home, and that we used to have. This room frequently flooded, and this slide is like so embarrassing. Like I'm so embarrassed to show you this because it was a really bad webinar. And what I did was I ran a webinar. I had this little group, this little Facebook group, and I was teaching people how to start t-shirt businesses, online t-shirt businesses, because that's what I had done. I ran a t-shirt business. And so I put together this little webinar because I wanted to sell my new online course called Shirt School. And it was like a 45-minute webinar. I had this little Facebook group that I'd been teaching, for a month or 2 months. So I did this little webinar. This is like copied slide by slide from like all the famous webinar gurus. And here's what's crazy. It worked. I did this little webinar. I had some people on there. I think I made like $10,000 on the first webinar. And I was so ecstatic. Like it was this little group, Facebook group, did my little webinar, a bunch of people bought it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is crazy. So I want to bring this webinar to the masses. I want to get out of this Facebook group. I want to get a bunch of people from the internet. I want to sell this course. I'm going to do this class, this webinar. So I go out to Facebook ads. I run a bunch of Facebook ads. I get 800 leads. This is me preparing for my second webinar. I get 800 leads from Facebook. I spend thousands on Facebook ads. I do the exact same presentation that I had done to that Facebook group, right? That little Facebook group of aspiring t-shirt sellers that I was teaching. And it flopped. It completely flopped. I made 0 sales. I literally got on that live webinar on Zoom, much like I am right here, had like a couple hundred people on there probably. And they were just roasting me in the chat. I mean, like calling me every kind of different name, calling me, slime, whatever. And nobody bought. I opened my cart and I was like, buy my course, buy my t-shirt business course. Nobody bought. I opened it for 5 days and it like wrecked me. Like it literally took me months of trying to figure out like, what am I going to do next? How am I going to fix this? So long story short, 6 months later or so, it was probably about 8 months later. I had actually run a couple other webinars. I tried to improve it and I had like improved my results a little bit. But I decided I was going to do this challenge. I had seen somebody on the internet do a challenge. It was super fun. I joined it. They taught for 5 days in this challenge. And so I decided I'm going to do my own challenge to sell my little t-shirt course. So I put together this challenge. I ran some ads. I got 1,500 leads. I spent about $7,000 on ads and I made $102,000 in sales. Like it was insanity. That was a 14x return on my ad spend, which is crazy. It absolutely crushed. Right. And I had been struggling with webinars for like 7, 8 months, just not being able to really get the results and the sales that I wanted. And when I made this shift, just because I had seen somebody on the internet doing these challenges, I just tried to figure it out. This screenshot is also embarrassing, but this was many years ago. And I like didn't even make a slide presentation for my course offer. I just like went to a whiteboard and like wrote it on there on a live stream. I had no idea what I was doing, but somehow it worked. Like it crushed. And so I ended up just duplicating it, right? Doing challenges over and over and over. And today I've done over 22 6-figure challenge launches, literally just repeating the process, like just copy and paste. This year at my challenges, I did almost the exact same slide decks that I did like 5 or 6 years ago in that first challenge. Like they're almost identical. It's just a copy and paste over 22 times, and they all have been super successful. And so anyways, this is my beautiful family, my wife, 13 years, my son and my daughter, 9 and 7. I have done some really cool stuff over the last 5 or 6 years. Spoke all around the world, hung out with Gary Vee, launched my course called Church School. Um, I've been featured by top companies like Shopify, ClickFunnels, Printify. I've been on top podcasts like Upflip, Biz Ninja on ABC Radio, Debutify, The Art of Online Business. And I've been so fortunate to help over 50,000 people start and launch online businesses over the last 6 years, really, that I've been kind of in the expert space. Before that, I was really in the e-commerce space. And you might be wondering, like, well, what happened? Like, why did the challenge work so well, right? $102,000, 14x ROAS, and a return on ad spend. And why did the webinar flop? Like, what was the big unlock or big difference? And I want to tell you, I couldn't actually quote him because I could not find the exact quote, but I heard him recently say this. There's a guy named Jason Fladland. He's known as the $100 million webinar man. He's the top expert in webinars in the entire world. He runs webinars for some of the biggest online experts and influencers and different things. And he literally said that he will not put on a webinar for someone unless they have a warm audience. Unless they already have like an email list, they have people follow a good list of people following them. He will not do a webinar for them unless they have a warm audience. And there's a reason for that. The reason he will not do a webinar for people if they don't have a warm audience is because when they're running traffic from like cold traffic, they're running ads, right? Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever it is. Those people have no idea who he is. They have no idea who that person is. Like, they're literally just clicking on an ad. They may or may not show up for that webinar. If they show up, you're going to have to try to convince them in a really short amount of time that you're trustworthy and that they can trust you with their money and they're going to get value, right? And you're actually going to be able to teach them something. And I thought that was so interesting because the top webinar experts in the world know that even though they're really good at doing webinars, they still can't make money with webinars unless they have warm prospects, unless they have people who already know, like, and trust them when they jump on that webinar. The difference with a 5-day challenge or with the challenge launch model is that you spend multiple days with people and it builds more trust over time, right? And you might have heard, like, you've probably heard this verbiage out there that we're in a trust recession, right? The reason for that is the reason why it's so hard for people to trust people online is because we know there's like AI everywhere, AI slop, right? People sit through endless, valueless webinars, masterclasses. More people have been burned than ever by courses, gurus, coaching. Like, let me know in the chat if you've ever like bought a coaching program or a course and just been like, what is this? Like, this is garbage, right? I know I've invested a lot of money and got inside there and there's been like, there's no value in here. Like, this is crazy, right? So more people than ever have been burned. And there's more noise and more skepticism than ever online. And this is a really simple illustration just to kind of show you the difference here. When you put on a webinar, and webinars definitely have their place, don't get me wrong, but when you put on a webinar, you have about 60 minutes with people. When you put on a challenge, you have multiple days with people. You spend more time with them. And it's literally as simple as that, is that you will earn people's trust when you literally just spend more time with them. And I want you to think of some examples in your own life of this. Like, a funny example is like, would you trust somebody that you met 60 minutes ago to babysit your kids? Probably not, right? But if you had a trusted friend that you'd known for months or years, you would probably trust them over the stranger to babysit your kids, right? If you went on a hike and some guy ran out of the woods and you're with your family and a guy ran out of the woods and he said, hey, I've got a shortcut. Come with me. And I've got a shortcut to the end, and you're going to see the most beautiful sights you've ever seen. Come with me. Would you trust that guy that just ran out of the woods and tried to lure you into a shortcut? Probably not. But if you brought a trusted friend with you on that hike and they said, hey, I know a shortcut. I've been here before. Come with me. Like, it's going to be way better than the normal hike. You'd be like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, this is my good friend, right? So the principle here is like, when you spend more time with people as an online expert, you will earn their trust just because they spend more time with you. And that's one of the big unlocks of why a challenge works so much better than a webinar, especially for cold traffic, just people who have never heard of you, who don't know you yet, is because you literally just spend more time with them, and that naturally builds more trust. This is what I call the trust triangle, if you will. And it's just kind of three little pillars of why challenges build more trust than other types of launches. It's three things. It's generosity, consistency, and clarity. If you give these three things, in addition to just spending more time with them, these will build trust. Number one, generosity. Challenge launches are great because you're literally just give away your information over multiple days. It's just service, right? It's service before selling. Consistency. You're showing up day by day. And people see that you show up day after day for them and deliver real value. They're going to trust you, right? And then clarity. Challenge launches work really well because each day you're only focusing on one small bit that you can teach, one small focus instead of like a bunch of different concepts. So in a challenge launch, each day they'll show up, you got a 30 to 45 minute maybe teaching, and you're focusing on like one core concept with an action step at the end. It's super clear. It takes people towards a goal, gets them into momentum. And so it's clarity, right? So generosity, giving, serving, consistency, showing up day after day, and then clarity, giving away real value, one core concept, and being super clear each day builds so much trust with people. So let's keep going. So just a quick definition, because you might be listening to this, you're like, all right, you're saying a lot of stuff, a lot of jargon, right? What even is a challenge launch? Let's kind of break down the model a little bit. So a challenge launch is essentially a live event that guides your audience through one specific result over 5 days with simple daily action steps. So that's like pretty basically what it is, right? It's a live event. I like to teach a 5-day challenge launch model. Other people may teach 3-day, 7-day. You can do them all different links. I think 5 days is kind of the sweet spot, but it's essentially where you show up live, kind of like I'm showing up live right here on this Zoom call, but you do it over multiple days and you lead people towards what I call a 5-day win, trying to get them a specific result, a 5-day win over those 5 days, right? Get them to a specific goal. Real quick, just a pulse check. Is this making sense so far? Is this like super confusing? How you guys feeling?
This is awesome, Kerry. I'm so excited about it. Like now I'm like rethinking everything
Let's
for the
go.
future. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. Is it making sense for anybody else? You guys feeling okay? Doing all right? Okay. We'll keep going. Let me know. We got a small group, so let me know in the chat or feel free to unmute and just say, yes, this is great, or this is horrible. That's okay too. All right. So a live event that guides your audience to one specific result over 5 days with simple action steps. Why challenges win? One of the reasons why challenges win is because you literally can't fake it for 5 days. Now that sounds silly, but I want to go back to just talking about, how many times have you got on a webinar, you sat there for 90 minutes and you've been like excited about it. And then you realize, oh, this is a 90-minute sales pitch, right? Like this is a 60-minute sales pitch. I've been sitting here for an hour and a half and all they've been doing is selling. Well, it's really easy to fake it in 60 to 90 minutes. Like to put together a presentation that doesn't offer a lot of real value, but literally focus on the selling. It's pretty easy to do in 60 to 90 minutes, but it's really hard to do that over 5 days. You can't fake it for 5 straight days, right? So challenges automatically win over webinars most times because when people sign up for a challenge, they're like, yeah, I'm going to get value if this person's literally going to show up for 5 days. They can't BS me for 5 days, right? So you can't fake it for 5 days. Daily action that gets people wins and momentum. In a challenge, people get wins every single day. You get them a quick win. They feel that win. Oh, man, I made progress towards the goal. And they start to get into the state of momentum, right? Moving towards a goal over multiple days. I've had people in my challenges on day 1 or day 2, like at the end of that day, they'll drop in the chat and comment and say, I've accomplished more in 2 or 3 days than I've accomplished in the last year. Like it's really cool when you just start to get those small wins over multiple days. Trust is naturally built on a longer time horizon. We talked about that, right? Spend 60 minutes with somebody, they're going to have way less trust than if you spend 5 days or a month or longer with them, right? You just build trust on a longer time horizon. And they naturally lead into your offer. So let me know here. I'm just curious, everybody that's on, like, do you have an online offer that you either are actively selling or planning to sell, whether that's a course or coaching or, like an implementation program, anything like that? Like, just let me know in the chat. Do you guys have an offer that you're looking to sell? Because I want to give you a couple strategies to figure out what would I actually teach in a challenge and how would it lead into my paid offer. So let's kind of dive into that. Some strategies around kind of how to figure out what you would do in a challenge and how it would lead to your offer. Working on my course. Love that. That's so cool, Carla. Great. Love to see it. All right, let's keep going. So define your 5-day win. So this is kind of like the first step. The question you want to ask is, what specific result can you help your ideal customer achieve in 5 days? I need to put the word small in here because what I really want to say is, what small and specific result can you help your ideal customer achieve in 5 days? You don't want to try to help somebody accomplish some huge thing, because the failure rate is going to be way higher in 5 days, right? That's a pretty quick time to help people get a result. So what small and specific result can you help your ideal customer achieve in 5 days? Here's some kind of traits of what a great 5-day challenge win looks like. So it's specific. Something like, hey, I'm going to help you book 3 qualified sales calls in 5 days. If you were in the business category, right? Or it's also measurable. So like if you were helping air conditioning business owners build websites, you would say, hey, I'll help you build your HVAC website in 5 days. It's measurable. Like they can actually say, like, they can see that they can get it done, right? It's emotional. Something like finally have a no drama bedtime routine. If you're in the parenting niche, right? You're helping parents. Finally have a no drama bedtime routine in 5 days. You would literally map out step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. This is how they get there in 5 days to re-engineer that bedtime routine. It's believable in 5 days. So I think the sweet spot for your 5-day wins on the believable part is like, if you can find something that feels like it's a little bit fast to get that result in 5 days, in 5 days, like it feels like, wow, that would be awesome if I could get that in 5 days. But it also has to be believable, right? It can't be so outlandish that they're like, there's no way I could get there in 5 days. So when you might, and if this is interesting to you, maybe take a screenshot of this slide, because these are kind of the 4 things that you want to look at when you're coming up with that 5-day challenge. Like, what is the topic? Is it specific? Can't be like ambiguous, just like, oh, it's got to be specific. Okay. Is it measurable? Is it emotional? Is it something they really, really want and that would make a difference? And is it believable to accomplish in 5 days? And I can also send these slides. I see some people looking around. I can also send these slides to Willa. I'm sure she can get them out. So let me give you a couple strategies. If I need to go back, let me know. But let me give you a couple strategies. How do you figure out what you would teach in a 5-day challenge, or what the topic would be? So what you see on my screen here is kind of strategy number 1. This is by far the easiest way to figure out what to teach in a 5-day challenge. And let me explain it. So in my old program called Shirt School, where I was helping t-shirt and apparel sellers grow online t-shirt and apparel businesses, I had an online course and I had 6 modules in that course. And I had like 90 something lessons in that whole course, right? Like the course was so big. It was like 90 something lessons. It's like everything from start to finish. Do everything to build an online e-commerce business, like starting from complete scratch all the way to like scaling up huge, right? So there's a ton of stuff in there. So I would never teach that in a challenge. I need a small and specific result. So what I did in my 5-day challenge was I literally just taught the first part of my course. I would love to say that it was way more strategic than that, but I just went, well, I guess I'll just teach like the first 2 or 3 modules. And I just kind of condensed them down into 5 days of training, kind of short 45-minute trainings. And what that did, why that was kind of magic, was it leaves a gap. There's a gap right here, if you can see my cursor. They don't get 4, 5, and 6 unless they sign up, right? They only get the condensed version of 1, 2, and 3 in a really quick time frame. So if you have a program, whether that's course, coaching, any kind of implementation, accelerator, whatever that may be, and you may look at the curriculum, and you may just say, like, if I just got people the first part of this, a win, and just taught the first part, it would leave them wanting the rest right after that. It's just a really easy strategy to do that. So in my t-shirt business course, the first part of my course was like how to choose your niche, how to come up with t-shirt designs, how to set up a Shopify account. These were the type of things I was teaching. So I literally just extracted the 5 most relevant steps, taught those in the challenge. And then my pitch was like, hey, you've got this store that I just helped you build over 5 days. If you want to learn how to make sales and market it, buy the full course. And they were like, I got this store, I need to make sales. I guess I'm going to need the course, right? Like it was pretty simple. It was a pretty simple strategy. So that's kind of one strategy to figure out what to sell, is just look at the first part of your program, your curriculum, and teach that, and then leave them wanting the rest, right? So here's kind of another strategy. Pull one small problem from your paid program and just solve that problem in the challenge. If, the first thing, and I don't have slides for this in here, if we were going a little bit deeper, and we will at the challenge next week when I'll teach a little bit deeper on this. But one thing to look at is, before you do this, is who is the customer that you want to serve with this challenge, and kind of what stage of the journey are they in? What stage of awareness are they in? Like, are they problem aware? Are they solution aware? I don't know if you've heard those kind of those awareness stages, but like, where are they at in the journey, right? You're going to teach something different in your challenge if they're complete beginners, or if they're more advanced, or like what stage are they at, right? If they have new children and their parents, they just had children, or if they're parents of teenagers, those are very different, right? If you were in the parenting category. So that's one thing to think at, is like, where are they at in the journey? And then when you look at your curriculum, what is one small problem that you could solve for where they're at in the journey? Hopefully that makes sense. So pulling a small problem from your paid program, chances are if you have a full program, like, you're solving a ton of things throughout that program, right? And if you could just teach one small problem, how to fix that, that would make a great challenge launch. So again, using this as an example, I've already talked about it, but this was the challenge that I ran for multiple years and did really well with. Launch your brand 5-day challenge. And the promise was start and launch your very own profitable online t-shirt or apparel business in just 5 days, right? That was kind of the promise of that. Another one, these are some guys that I worked with, John Bunn, Nick Miller. They launched this course called How to Make a Podcast, where they were helping people make money from a podcast. That was really kind of their thing in their course. Well, we just did the same thing. I was like, you should just do the same thing that I'm doing for my shirt school challenges. They just helped people start a podcast in 5 days, right? And this was mainly like online people that were, you may be doing YouTube, or maybe kind of building an audience, building a brand. They were like, you should do a podcast. I'll show you how to make money from it. And so over 5 days, they just taught them everything they need to know to start their podcast. And then their course was like, hey, if you want to learn all the strategies to make money from it, go deeper, buy the course, right? And I helped them do a $40,000 launch on their first time. We worked together, mapped out the challenge, boom. This was literally a brand new course, first launch, $40,000 launch. I think they sold the course for, I want to say it was like $700, $600 or $700. It really wasn't very expensive. And so it's pretty simple. Let's talk through kind of the challenge flow. Maybe let's take another quick breather, because this is kind of another one of those points where we can kind of move to the next section. Everybody feeling good? I see that Nancy, I see a bunch of different stuff here. Wendy says, have a freebie right now, beginners with brushes, leading up to building an art for young children course in the fall. That's awesome. That's great. Carla says, working on my course. Willa says, love this graphic, such a helpful way to frame it. Nancy, I've been a coach in a few areas. This is the format my mind gets. The tech and online marketing is my challenge. Firestarter is helping with the tech. Love that. So good. Okay, you guys ready to keep going?
It's awesome. Thanks, Kerry.
Awesome. Well, I don't think we have too much left, but I might spend some time on this slide here because there's a lot going on in this crazy looking slide. So this is a really rough sketch of just kind of like the challenge model and the flow. Now, again, next week at the Serve First Sales Challenge, which is like I'm doing a 5-day challenge, teaching all this stuff, I'm going deeper into like exactly what to teach each day of the challenge and how to structure your content. But this is kind of a high level overview. Typically, I start my challenges on a Monday, which is why I'm starting this coming up Monday, right? Using this as an example. And they go Monday through Friday, so 5 days, right? And typically right here on day 4 is typically when I open my offer for my paid program for those people that want to go deeper. And I'll typically open that for 5 days. So I'll open up my program for 5 days. And that means that, oh, I went back. I'm sorry. That means that the cart will close on Monday. So just starting there, like that's the flow of like start the challenge on Monday, teach up until Thursday, open your program, your offer, and then close it down the following Monday. So it's like a 7-day launch cycle in most cases. And you can change that, but that's kind of what I've gone with. So you can run these free or paid. They kind of free and paid both have their advantages and disadvantages. What I would typically recommend is going with a paid challenge, something that's fairly low cost, like $5, $7, $17. The reason for that is because you'll typically get higher quality leads. You'll get higher show up rates, and you'll just get people that are more serious about it. If you go free, it absolutely works. And I've had really great results with free challenges. You just get, there's a little bit more to deal with, right? Like there's a lot of people. I've gotten a lot of spam in the free challenges before because typically I'll have like a challenge group, like a Facebook group or something like that, where I'll host it. And so you can have some more spam, some more customer service type stuff, some tire kickers in those free challenges, but you'll get that with any kind of launch that you do for free, So I wouldn't steer you away from free challenges, but they definitely both have their advantages and disadvantages. The advantage of doing a free challenge is like when you're newer, you don't have an audience, it lets you prove yourself, right? And you'll get lower cost leads, get people in there and be able to kind of prove yourself over those 5 days. Whereas when you do a paid challenge, it's a little bit harder to get people to pull out their credit card and buy, right? To just buy up front, even if it's only $7, $17. Also down here, just to kind of wrap this part up, I always recommend that you offer some kind of VIP upsell because that will help you pay for some of your ad costs if you're running. And really that's one of the selling points of this is like, it works so much better with cold traffic, with like people you get from ads that don't know about you. It's a launch model that can be profitable even for people who aren't super experienced in launching, right? It can be profitable if you have to run ads because when you don't have an audience, like how else do you get leads? You got to run ads sometimes, right? Like, and it's hard. So this makes that work with that cold traffic. But a VIP upsell helps you pay for some of that ad cost. And what a VIP upsell is basically letting people upgrade their ticket. So let's say you do a $7 challenge. That's what I'm doing next week. And I have a $97 VIP upsell. So somebody comes in, they pay the $7. That gets them access into the event for 5 days. They get 5 days of training. But then they can pay $47, $67, $97 to upgrade their ticket and become a VIP, and they'll get some additional bonus calls with me or you if you're running the challenge, right? And maybe some additional small bonuses that you could offer, templates, different things like that, prompts, whatever, bonus courses, whatever you want to put in there. But that VIP upsell will help you pay for some of those ad costs, right? It can be really helpful to do that. So last thing I want to cover on this slide is I want to just briefly talk through, I'm trying not to be too long-winded on this part, but briefly talk through the purpose of each day. Because each day of the challenge launch, when you're teaching, it has a purpose, right? And so just to briefly kind of run through those, day one is really important because on day one is where you want to build credit. You want to showcase your credibility, show them like why they can trust you. If you have, experience, you have results, you have case study testimonials, personal results, that's a time you want to show those. You want to cast vision for the entire week. You want to let them know exactly what they're going to get the rest of the week. And you want to have a really strong, quick win on that first day. As I mentioned, every day should have a quick win. But on that first day, you want to make sure you have a really strong, quick win so that they feel the momentum to come back for day two. We'll have some time for Q&A. I'll definitely get to all those questions at the end. So thank you for the questions. I see those coming in. Day two is going to get into really just like teaching, whatever topic you're going to teach on that second day. Make sure you have the quick win, but you're getting people into that momentum. Day three, teaching some more, quick win. Day three is typically when you can go a little bit deeper on stuff because by day three, the people that show up are really invested. By day three, it's like, this is the core group of people who are here, who care, who are motivated, right? And so you can typically go a little bit deeper. have that quick win. Then day 4 is when you open your presentation. You can also do your offer presentation on day 5, but I like to do day 4 because that gives you the opportunity to show up on day 5 and then reinforce your offer, take question and answer. And one really cool thing you can do on day 5 is if you have people join on day 4, so if they join your paid program, you can come back on day 5 and you can, in front of everyone, you can be like, hey, I want to celebrate all the people who joined the program yesterday, right? All these people took my offer and they joined the program. Thank you so much for joining. And by the way, like if you still haven't got in, now's the time. Look at all these amazing people who got in, right? So it's a really good, I would say it's a really good idea to have an additional session after you open the cart, especially if you do it on day 4, you open the cart, you open the offer, some people join, but then like you let people sleep on it, right? And a lot of times when people are considering these big purchases, they sleep on it, they wake up the next morning, it's like, okay, I feel better about it, like I'm ready to go, right? And if they're still on the fence, that additional session gives you an opportunity to address some of those concerns and some of the roadblocks that people might have. So that's kind of like the challenge flow. What's on the next slide? This just kind of gives you an illustration of people kind of going, a person going up the mountain, right? Like I love this kind of illustration because it just really illustrates what a challenge does. Like when you're climbing that mountain, it's step by step, and you get winded and the altitude changes, right? And like, but you're working and you're moving towards that goal and you see that top of the mountain, you're trying to get there. That's literally what a challenge does, is it's like step by step going up the mountain. And when you get to that peak, when you get to that goal, it's so great that you feel so good. You accomplished something, you did something maybe you haven't done before. And really, that's why when you open your offer, when you sell on a challenge, that day 4, day 5, that's why it makes that selling part easy. Like if you've ever done a webinar and you get to the part where you have to pitch, I mean, it's like the pit in your stomach, especially if you're inexperienced. It's like, these people have only known me for 40 minutes, but here I go to ask them for their money, right? But when you go step by step up that mountain with somebody, side by side with them, encouraging them, helping them, teaching them, and saying, I've been where you've been, then by the time you get to step 4, step 5, it's really easy to be like, who wants to keep going with me? Who wants to keep going to get to the even bigger goal, right? We just climbed this small mountain. Who's ready to climb the big mountain with me, right? So we climb the small mountain. Let's go tackle the big mountain. And it's really easier to sell than it is on a really short launch period, right? Okay, sales through service, no pressure sales tactics, no trying to gatekeep or hide your best stuff. The more value you give, the more people buy. And it's literally like, show them. When you put on a challenge, you get the opportunity to show that you're the expert, to prove it, right? You don't always get that opportunity in a short presentation. But when you do that challenge, you spend multiple days, and it's like it's almost like your audience is just saying, all right, well, show me what you got. Show me that you can help me. You're not faking it. You're not just making it up. You actually are proving that you know what you're talking about, right? So it's just showing it. And I think this is the last kind of piece here, but I just call it like the free sample model, the taste and see model. It's, if you think about this model that I've been talking to you about, it's so prevalent in like, there's a million different examples in the world. The first one here, you go to the ice cream shop, what do? They give you samples, right? They give you the samples, you taste it and you go, ooh, that's good. We have Brahms here. If you guys ever had Brahms, we have Brahms here, and I had gingerbread flavored ice cream yesterday with my kids. Whoo, it was good. Side note, but what do you do when you take that sample, right? You taste a few and you go, oh, that's the one I want to go with. And then you end up spending you spend money, right, with them, and you buy something, you buy a bigger product, right? The second thing, what do you do when you go to the car lot to buy a car? What does that salesperson do? They don't take you to the car and be like, here's the car, you want to buy it? They take the keys and put the keys in your hand and tell you, you take it for a spin and see if it works for you. They make you feel that ownership, right? That's what a challenge does. Like, you literally teach and you go, all right, I've taught now it's your turn. Here's what you need to go do for today. You need to actually take the action, right? And it's like, yeah, then you end up buying that car, right? And then the last one, how many, if you watch like Netflix, you watch, Paramount or HBO, what do they do now when they come out with a new show? They're trying to get people to watch it. They go, hey, come watch the free pilot. They don't gatekeep, like they don't give you like the preview, like the trailer, right? They give you the whole episode. They let you come in and experience the show and then decide if you want to sign up for $14.99 and watch the rest of the show, right? It's the same exact principle of like, hey, we don't want to just sell you on coming to buy our stuff. Like, why don't you come experience it? Come experience it for 5 days, spend time with me, and you'll see that this is the real deal, right? That you can trust me with your wallet, with your money, right? That I can actually help you. So that's the idea of a challenge. Taste and see. Any of you guys excited to maybe put on your own challenge? I know that was like 40 minutes of teaching, but what do you guys think? Fun? Good?
Nancy says thumbs up. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
like, it's so, I feel like it's just such a kind of like refreshing framing. And I think like, 5 day challenge, it sounds so intimidating, but I think when you break it down and also showing, kind of like where you can kind of pull content
Yeah.
from and not putting all the pressure, to kind of like load it all into like one presentation. And I think I like the idea too of kind of like, instead of bringing people through 4 days and then like hitting them on day five, with your
Yeah.
pitch, I think it's kind of like it actually seeds it nicely. Because it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, obviously this is about, like trying to kind of like get to know you process and, like let's see if we're going to have our second date, but like
Hmm.
talking about it, before the end. I think it's nice. It seems more natural.
Yeah, there's so much more that, gosh, so much I left out. But that, like, one thing is like, one thing I actually like about it is that each day's presentation, it doesn't have to be like super elaborate. Like, you can show up with like 8 or 10 slides and have an action step at the end and be like, okay, here's one core concept that you need to learn today to accomplish this action step. Now go do the thing. And it can be a 35 minute session. Like, and that kind of, even though it's multiple days of teaching, it takes the pressure off you a little bit, because when you do a webinar, like you're literally trying to cram, like, I want to teach all this stuff, or I want to make sure I get everything in this small time frame. But like with a challenge, it's like, let me just teach this little piece day by day and step by step, right? And I think it's more digestible for people. It's easier to come and like have a small action step and you move towards a goal. So yeah, I like it.
Awesome. Yeah, I imagine it allows you to like be a little bit responsive too, like if you're getting feedback, oh, I'll like incorporate that tomorrow,
Absolutely.
you're doing it in real
So
time.
can you guys still see my slides? I think everybody can.
Yes.
Okay. Last thing I've got for you. I think I've got like 2 more slides and then I'm done. But this is the Serve First Challenge system. This is kind of like my system that you see on your screen here. And it's these 5 things. This is kind of what I'm walking through next week at the Serve First Sales Challenge. Select, what do you actually teach in a challenge? Engineer, how do you figure out how to structure each day and like script each day? What do you put on your slides? Those kind of things. Rise, how do you build confidence to actually like become the leader and the pro and the expert to actually go and show up live for your audience and deliver? Venture, how do you get your people to buy your stuff? How do you actually pitch your stuff, right? That's the venture part. I worked really hard to make this SERVE. So just appreciate it. I know venture's a little out there, but just appreciate it. And then expand. The final step of the kind of system is like scaling and repeating the process. That's where it gets really, really fun, is redoing your challenges. That's what I've been able to do, which I'm so fortunate that it's been awesome just being able to like duplicate that process. So next week at the challenge, we kind of gave you guys the fast track, the kind of the overview. So next week, probably day 4. So that's almost a week from today. I'll be opening up my Serve First Accelerator program. It's an 8-week done with you system to launch a high converting challenge. So it's kind of an implementation and coaching program to help people actually do this, right? Get the coaching and help that they need. And if you guys are like interested at all in that, and you're like, man, this is like, I want to do this. I just want to open it up for you to book a call with me. If you go to servefirstcall.com, I'll put it in the chat. No pressure to do that at all. Like, I just enjoyed spending time with you guys. But if you're like, nah, I want to do this, servefirstcall.com, you can book a quick call with me. It's like a 30-minute call. And we can see like if the accelerator is a good next step for you, if it would help you. I can give you all the details, what's included, the pricing, all that kind of stuff. and just help you map out like what your challenge might look like. So servefirstcall.com. I've opened up my calendar basically. So there's like 5 days on there. It's like a rolling 5 days, but I've opened up my calendar from like 7 a.m. to like 10 p.m. Like anytime that somebody wants to jump on there, I am like in full meet with people mode, help you with your business mode. So I've tried to make myself as available as possible for that. So that's all I got for you. Actually, I did have also a special bonus. If you book a call, you show up on the call, I'll give you 98 top converting challenge launch advertising hooks. I've used many of these. I go right back to them when I'm creating advertising for like Facebook ads and different things. I just grab them from these hooks. So that's little helpful tool. So if you do book a call, show up, I'll give you that PDF. It's got 98 hooks on it. So that's all I got. That's it. I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you guys so
Well,
much.
super valuable. And I would love to just like share you guys behind the scenes the template that we've been working on based on, I'm going to show off I'll show off your sales page, which is, like what we have been working from, and share a little bit behind the scenes of kind of how we design and develop funnels with our team here at Firestarter, and how we've been collaborating with Kerry. So you can see my screen here. Can you guys see it? Okay, yes. Cool. So this is the like quote sales page for Kerry's upcoming challenge. And so this is, his real sales page. And then this is, he sent me the links, all the different links of the different pages. And, the different, we kind of build funnels a couple of ways at Firestarter. We either, build them from scratch or kind of like using a model like this and then kind of templatizing it, we call it, so turning it into, kind of like a more generic format that could work for different niches, different industries, which is what we've done with Kerry. With Kerry's, we develop custom templates that then are kind of customizable, in our kind of like style, and then we build from scratch. So this, we turn this into kind of a templatized version of Kerry's funnel, which he has been, obviously refining over time, figuring out, what works in terms of how you sell a challenge. And Kerry's been running ads, which you may start seeing since you're here. So this is, the page that he's running ads to. And we pull this up. So this is Figma, which is a design platform. So what we did is we took Kerry's pages and then, we provide feedback to our development team, and we, turned, the different sections, taking it from Kerry's brand and Kerry's messaging into language that, you can go in here, edit it on Firestarter funnels, or for other people, who will be part of his challenge or on other high level platforms can go in and just, kind of once this is on high level, which is being built out now, go in and edit it, drag and drop, insert their own videos, kind of personalize this, customize this, make this our own, change the colors, of course, change the fonts, and really, pretty easily turn this into something that's branded for whatever kind of challenge they're running, whether they're, a real estate agent or, a health coach or someone in the business space. So we added some space for video testimonials. So that's kind of the first sales page. This is the checkout page. And then this is where, I assume, Kerry, after people check out, then they get this, what we call tripwire page. There's an opportunity to upgrade to VIP, and that's where the VIP upgrade is. So as this is all super customizable. What we're really excited to, both be including this in part of Kerry's challenge, as well as having it available on the Firestarter funnels platform, and we'll be marking it as a special collaboration. So
yeah, excited so about cool.
That. Thanks for that opportunity.
You made it look way better. So
I don't know. I'm excited. We had to get that orange color right, but I like it. I think it hits well.
Yeah. Also, as a side note, what's cool about paid challenges, which is what I'm running next week, and what she was showing you there, she was mentioning that like tripwire VIP type thing. What's cool is you can do a one-click upsell to the VIP if your challenge is paid. So my challenge is $7, and so when people go over there to that page and they put in their credit card, after they click check out, they click complete, it actually takes them to that VIP page, and they can upgrade like with one click. They can just add on the $97 VIP with one click. So they don't have to re-enter their credit card info. And that helps you, like that raises the conversion rate on that offer quite a bit, rather than people having to like put in their information again. And so that's kind of a cool thing of doing a paid challenge is you can get a lot more higher take rate on those upsells for sure.
Totally. I think that's a good point. And there's a couple of ways to do, like, you could also, I imagine, do it as like an order bump for just like a
Hmm.
little check mark. But of course, with the kind of upsell page, then you get the benefit of kind of being able
Yeah,
to tell a little bit more about it. Whereas a order bump is low friction, but at the same time, it's very minimal space to communicate why it's important for them to to do it. So I think you've laid it out in a really good way. So excited to be
absolutely.
sharing that. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? We've got a few final minutes here. We'll definitely be, kind of sharing this recording in the community and hope it was valuable. And, as I said, this is, our kind of inaugural edition of the Catalyst Circle expert series. And we're really excited about doing these. I've been in a stage where I've just been, connecting so many amazing people who I've been connected to. I'm really excited about bringing them all in and, sharing their expertise with us. Wendy, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering how long, like for each day, how much time would you say that you should do a video or the presentation?
Yeah, I think 30 to 60 minutes maximum. I think you
Okay.
typically don't want to go over 60 minutes unless you're just like doing Q&A at the end. Um, because again, like you don't want to overteach because it'll just overwhelm people.
Right.
Um, that being said, like the whole premise is that like you can give a ton of value and not have to feel like you're selling and those kind of things. Like, so I'm not saying hold anything back, but I think keeping the presentations like simple, focused around one core concept, and like 30 to 45 minutes is great. That's like the perfect time frame. If you get in there for like 40 minutes and it's digestible and they're like, okay, I got the one core concept, I got the action step, I'm good. I think that's like a great time frame. Typically
Okay.
I'm in the like 45, 50-minute range, somewhere in there.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Do you typically open it up to Q&A at the end, or do you kind of keep it, you kind of like just leading and teaching through it, Kerry?
It kind of most of the time I do some Q&A. I do kind of limit it a little bit because the VIPs, the people that pay for VIP, get dedicated sessions. So, it's kind of a carrot. You can kind of dangle it as a carrot a little bit, like, hey, and you can be really straight with people, like, hey, we're gonna do 15 minutes of Q&A. I would love to be able to answer all of your questions, but like, if you want to get all of your questions answered, like, go get the VIP access. It's $47 or $97,
Yeah, yeah.
and then there's like dedicated sessions. Um, so yeah, you can do as much Q&A as you'd like, but that's one thing that I kind of do, depending on the
Nice.
size of the group, right? Like it depends.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, I'm
Yeah.
super excited about your upcoming challenge. And,
Me too.
if you guys found value here, you have, the links to take the next steps, but we'll be sharing this all in the community as well. And just Kerry, thank you so much for being our first, expert
Yeah.
guest and your time and sharing all of your, I'll be picking your brain for sure about
Yeah.
all of this. It's definitely made me like rethink everything that we're doing.
And
So
I would
really
love to
excited
come
about it.
back and talk more about challenges or about other things, right? Like the ads that come along
Totally.
with challenges or any of those kind of topics. Like I'd be happy to come back and talk about. So you guys that are on this call, you just let Willa know. I need Kerry back, and then I
Exactly.
will
Yeah. And
happily
you'll
come back
definitely be coming on the Firestarter podcast as
for
well,
sure.
which we're
I,
working on
Yeah.
I do have
relaunching.
one
So
question.
go for it,
Steven,
Stephen.
how's it going?
Good. What platform do you run these things on?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's actually, oh man, I'm glad I'm getting these questions
Yeah.
before. I'm glad you guys are asking some questions before the challenge next week because it'll give me a little time to see what people are asking. But there's a couple different ways you can run it. I would say the easiest way is what I would recommend, and the way I'm doing it. I would recommend having a Facebook group where people can interact in the challenge. They can share their wins and different things. But I would host your streams, like your daily streams, on a Zoom link like this. Like just it can be like a meeting like this. Unless you expect that there's going to be over 100 people, then you want to do like a Zoom webinar. But if you're under 100 people live, which most of us will be, especially your first ones, just do a regular Zoom meeting like this where people can turn on the camera or whatever it is, and I just email them the Zoom link, and I have the same Zoom link for every day, so they can just save it, and it's 5 sessions. They can join it every day at the same time. I do mine at I do my sessions at 11 a.m. Central Time typically. Um, I honestly don't have like a great reason for doing that. It's just what I've always done. I've tried to change it a couple times. It didn't work as well. So that's worked for me. 11 a.m. Central, which is like, I think it's 12 p.m. Eastern, wherever you guys are located, do the math. But um, yeah, just Zoom, put it on Zoom.
Super helpful.
So you acquire the likely people to come to it through your Facebook group, and then you
No,
provide them with, you have to have their emails in order to provide an email access for the Zoom link.
yeah. So typically, I get people to register. They go to that website that Willa was showing you. They go over to the website and they will fill out the checkout form, put in their credit card, and they'll pay. If it's paid, they'll pay $7 on my challenge, and then that they'll have to put in their email. So then I can have the software like send them an email and give them the Zoom link. And I'm typically getting people. You can get people from anywhere if you have an email list, if you have social media, if you go on podcasts. I mean, anywhere you make YouTube videos. But when you don't have much of an audience, like I typically get leads from Facebook and Instagram advertising. So I'll run an ad on Facebook and invite people to come to that webpage, put in their credit card, and sign up for the challenge. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. That helps a lot.
Absolutely.
I hate to cut us off, guys, but I have to lead another session as part of Catalyst Circle.
Oh my goodness.
You decide to join us, our monthly entrepreneurship hour with me. So, but Stephen, you're part of FBA, so you have access to that. But you have a busy day as always. So, but Kerry, thank you so much for this time. We'll be in touch with everything, and just everyone who's here. Thank you so much, and we're excited to have more conversations like this.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks,
everybody.
Kerry.
Thank
And
you.
thanks, Willa. Bye-bye.
All right,
Talk to you
take
soon.
care. Bye, all.
Okay, bye.